very tender story. They ripped it up. Everyone knows the story. And they threw him into an empty well, just as Reuben had told them, and they sat down to eat. Now, that's one little storyline. Now the narrator, these two storylines have obviously agreed with each other up to this point, just like the Noah story, but now they've clipped it from a different narrative line, and they don't want to throw anything away, you see? So now they've clipped this into it. Looking up, you see this? They saw a group of Ishmaelites who were coming from Gilead. Ishmaelites, we would have to consider them tradesmen by this time. Their camels laden with all these balsam, resins, and different things going down to Egypt. And look who's the hero of this line, Judah. Judah is a progenitor of the south. Reuben is the oldest tribe of the north. So this is a pro-Judah line. This is the Judeans retelling the story, saying, look, it's not your ancestor that tried to stop it. Our ancestor did. And Judah said to his brothers, what do we gain by killing our brother and covering up his blood? But that's just what Reuben had already said. Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites. But that's not harm. Now, most people put all this together. But it isn't all together. It's two separate narrative lines. And his brothers agreed. Snip that off right there. 25 to 27. Start with 28. That goes back to 24. Just like the Noah material here. Now, some Midianite merchants were passing. See, Midianites and Ishmaelites are, one's descended from the others, are virtually the same. So the other line says, now some Midianite merchants were passing and they drew Joseph out of the well. That goes with the line when Reuben says, put him in a well, and they did. So Reuben wants to, you see, Reuben wants to put him in a well, but he wants to go back later and get him out and take him home to his daddy. Now, clip that off, start again. His brothers agreed. They sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites. This other line has that they're selling Joseph to the, so each sentence, one is cut from one narrative, the other cut from the other narrative. And it brings contradictions to the story. Once you unsplice it, the contradictions disappear. Because you see you have two parallel stories. One with Judah as hero. So pay attention. One has Judah as hero, one has Reuben, not hero, but trying to stop the situation. One has the Ishmaelites. The Ishmaelites are the one with Reuben as the hero. The other has the Midianites. That's the one with Judah as the hero. But Judah says, come, let us sell him. No, wait a second. The one with the Midianites is the Reuben story. The one with Ishmaelites is the Judah story. Now we're getting it. Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites. His brothers agreed. Now the Midianites drew Joseph from the well. That's the Reuben story. They sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites. Now if you're reading it, you think the Midianites sold him to the Ishmaelites. No. The brothers sell him to the Ishmaelites in the Judah line story. So you have, Judah says, sell him to the Ishmaelites. Okay, they sold him to the Ishmaelites. That's line 28 and 29 for 20 pieces of silver. They took Joseph to Egypt. Okay, clip it back. When Reuben went back to the well, see, Reuben knows they sold him to the Ishmaelites. No, he doesn't, because it's a different storyline. When Reuben went, but that goes with line 28. Now, some Midianite merchants were passing. They drew Joseph out of the well. Skip 29. Then go to the end of 29 and 30. When Reuben went back to the well, there was no sign of Joseph. That's all part of the Reuben line. You see that? It's pretty clear when you can see it, but you wouldn't see it when you were reading it yourself. Someone has to point it out to you. Otherwise, you'd be totally befuddled. I didn't see it. But when you see it, it's obvious. That's what people like Friedman are writing about in that book. Anyway, so Reuben goes back and says, oh my God, what am I going to do? Anyway, at this point, both stories converge again. They took Joseph's colt, they slaughtered some creature, they put blood on it, and his father wept. For a very tender story. And then it ends, line 36. Meanwhile, the Midianites had sold him into Egypt to Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's officials. So, hold on. That goes on back to 28. The Midianites drew Joseph out of the well, and they sold him into Egypt. Where does the Ishmaelite story end? I'm not sure that we have the end. Oh, yeah, chapter 39, look. Now Joseph had been taken down to Egypt, 1 and 2. Potiphar, the Egyptian, one of Pharaoh's officials. The other one has Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's officials, commander of the guard. One of Pharaoh's and commander, okay, that's the same. Brought him from the Ishmaelites, who brought him down there. That's the other story. Nothing. Yahweh was, and that now I think you see is a Yahweh story. It's a Judah story, you see. Judah, Ishmael, Yahweh. That's the Yahweh. The other is Jacob, Midianites, Israel. Hello. North-south stories of the same time. Mostly agreeing. Then in the middle, because Judah is involved, we get this 38, a snippet of Judah being a nasty person, fornication-wise, turning aside, sleeping with his son's wife that we already told you about, Tamar, the wife of many of his sons, and that'll interrupt it. And then 39, so that's an anti-Judah story told by somebody. Again, probably the Northerners telling a nasty story about the Southerners. The Judahites wouldn't have preserved that story. They don't want to hear a story like that about their father. Anyway, and then we'll take a break now. After the break, we'll be able, I think, to do the Joseph story, don't you think? So we'll be able to get to the end of this, hopefully, and that'll set us up for our exam next week. Okay? Okay. We'll talk about that after the break. Thanks for being patient.